for this section of my presentation, I'm just going to show you a little bit about our new interactive boards that hopefully by next year, all of you will have some type of interactive smart board to work with. It might not be a Promethean board per se, so I'm not going to show you much with the software that's included in this, but just an interactive board in general of how you can use it with your kids. So first of all, it can act as a whiteboard, simply just like writing on your whiteboard, but you can use your finger. You change the pen colors here, or you can use a highlighter and changes the highlighter colors. You can change the thickness of your pen if you want it to show up a little better, like a little bit thicker pen. And you simply can write different thicknesses, like I said. And as you continue to write, you can scroll the board and you can keep writing. It's like a continuous whiteboard, so you don't have to clear it. It'll always be there when you want to come back and review notes or whatever for your kids. And as you saw up in this corner, it kind of scrolls with you what the whiteboard is doing. So that's pretty cool. And then of course you can save whatever it was when you're finished, and you would have those notes. So you can either retype them or use them again later. All right, the next kind of cool feature, let me erase that, is it will split the screen. You can split the screen. So for example, you'd have two kids coming up here doing math facts competing using a whiteboard with their finger. Or when we have some other features here like backgrounds, one of the backgrounds that you can put up here is a graph paper for you math people or science where you'd need graph paper. So you can put dots on here, have them plot points, depending on how thick you want your dots, and so on. Again, you could split the screen, have two kids graphing things at the same time. Other backgrounds, let me get rid of that. Other backgrounds that are kind of fun for elementary. This is like a handwriting one where they can come up and practice their letters. So the house here, depending on what you refer to, how to write things, but the G that has to start here and go to the basement of the house, or the P that has to go all the way up to the roof. Again, split the screen. You can have two kids doing it at the same time with their houses. So that's kind of fun. Not sure what the exact software would be on your interactive board, but I'm sure it's all very similar. Some of these basic background things like that. And again, you can change the color of what those backgrounds are, the colors in general of the background if you want it to change into some big fancy color. All right, so let's get rid of all this. Or you can use the eraser just as an eraser. If you click on this one, like if I just made a mistake and I just wanted to erase one part of it, you can use that, or the square eraser erases the entire board. So this next feature here is images. So these images are already embedded in the smart board, which again, with whatever board you get, I'm sure has something very similar. Tables, clock faces, cause and effect charts, depending on your the classes that you teach, which ones you would like. Circle fractions. These are really nice for, I know the math people with equivalent fraction strips for Eureka Math. I know I see this a lot, so that we can make them equivalent. 5 whatever's, I'm not a math person, but anyway, I know that I've seen these equivalent strips that you could use. Get rid of that. Go back to the templates here. Here's a coordinate plane, again, for the math folks to have things plotted. You can split that, but you'd have to put 2 of them in there. Oops. You'd have to insert two graphs and to have it split screen on both of them. Let me get rid of that. Show you something else. Hundreds charts, periodic tables. We have some number lines and T-charts, like I said, very similar in most interactive boards. Another feature are tools. So embedded in here are rulers, protractors, the whole thing protractor. So I was going to show you one cool feature if I go to my computer, and let's say I have a picture that I like. Let's make him bigger. I have a picture of an alligator, and I want to capture that image. I hit capture here. Comes up and shows me what my picture would look like. I can crop it. And then I say I'm done, and I can open that in my whiteboard, just with any picture you can imagine, in whatever discipline you have. And so here I have a picture of an alligator. Maybe I want to measure the angle of his mouth being opened. So I could click on my protractor here, and if I grab it, I can drag it over to his mouth. I can make it bigger, and turn it, whoops, I'm grabbing the wrong thing. Turn it and measure the angle of whatever, however you'd want it. Fill it in. It's kind of fun. I could also turn on the ruler, and I could drag that and measure, you know, whatever I wanted. Again, with whatever image you chose to use. Doesn't matter, you'd have to be creative there with those things. All right, that's the whiteboard. To change sources, we have home screen, what we're on right now, and I would go to my computer again. So say I want to go to Epic Books and I want to read something with the kids. They're reading. I could have them listen to it. There's nice, wonderful speakers on here that are amazing. They can all hear it. They can see it with the lights on. It's like a TV, so those of you that have projectors right now, you have to turn the lights off for the kids. This is a lot nicer. Anyway, I can annotate on the top of a book. So I can, again, use a highlighter or a pen. I will use my highlighter. I'll make it a little bit thicker. Not sure if I got, yeah. And I want to make it green. And I want to say that it's the daughter of the master merchant to be married. And I want to highlight that for the kids, so I'm emphasizing it as they're going along. Or whatever you would want to annotate over the top. Or say I'm doing a reading response here. I have that pulled up, and I want to annotate over the top of that to help the kids write something. Turn on my pen in green. The book title might be Number the Stars. And so on. What's the book about? You could just annotate and help the kids that way and have that already pulled up, ready to go. So that's just a few things with annotating. You can go over the top of anything in the annotate feature. So, and then erase it as a whole. You can actually fill something in. This is kind of cool. So let's say I fill that in. Oh, sorry. It's very sensitive. And I put hatchet, and I want to have it already filled in of something. I can have it already filled in. I can hit this eyeball feature so they can't see it. And then as we're talking, and I'm telling them maybe what they should be writing and having them write, then you could show them what you wrote, and they could compare, or at least they already tried to have an idea before they just copy what you write down. So that's something, that's about annotating. Another cool feature here is the screen share feature of the board. So if I hit screen share, this is fun for any of you that would want to give presentations. I'm going to close out of this. Okay, so this panel ID number will come up. So then I would go over to my laptop, or the students would go to their laptop, and they will need to have the screen share app also, which Andy put on my computer for me. And I would click on screen share. And then it asks me to type in this panel number. So each interactive board has its own panel number, so I could share stuff to Mrs. Eckhoff or Nina next door. So I would type in the panel number, which is 213848. I could type my name in the box. I don't have to, but I can. You would want your students to, of course. And then you can enable that you can use the touch part of this onto the board. And then I would enter the waiting room. And then you'll notice that one person showed up in the waiting room. So when I click on that one person, it will hold this many students. There's one device waiting. So I would click on Mrs. Palin, and my screen will come up. So whatever I do on my laptop, if I have a presentation to give, whatever the kids, this would be for the students, they would be able to put that up there instead of having to log into their Google on your computer every time to give a presentation. They can do it right from their seat or from their computer if they want to show something. Even if they all found a picture of whatever, send it to the screen and we'll open all these different pictures. So that's kind of fun. Different screen share. Or if my big computer's not working, I can use my laptop. Get out of that. Okay, and I'm done with that. So I would just close out of the screen share app. All right, the last thing I want to show you is just a little bit about the Active Inspire software that's on these boards. Now, there's a board in my room, there's a board in Mrs. Eckhoff and Ms. Zaluski's room, and there is a board in the STEam lab for you to use. So you can go down and take your class there and do anything that I've just done without the use of that software. However, there is a computer in there with the software on it. So if you want to know more about how to make something, I will definitely help you. I'm just going to kind of show you a few things that it does, a few things that I've created or how I use it with my kids. So I would open the Active Inspire software, which is here on my computer over there. So I already have it open. I have some flip charts already open that I'm going to show you. So first of all, this one's an alphabet spinner that I use with the kindergartners just to see if they can name their letters. And so when you hit spin, the suspense, and then they have to name it. And then they can come up and they can spin again, and they have to name it. Just a different way to have some fun, and they're engaged because they're doing it. You can change it to uppercase and do the same thing. That's just one of the spinners. That's already an Active Inspire. I didn't create that spinner. This is a game that I have made in the past. It's called the hot seat. The kids would come up, or I would pull a word out. They have to get their teammates, somebody's in the hot seat facing away from the board. They have to get their teammates to say that word before the other team, and then of course you can give them a point if they win, and so on. You can put that in the garbage can, there it is, and then pull out another word, and so on. So you just play a game called the hot seat that way. That's something that I made just by dropping images in, burying words behind a box that you attach to the screen. Another spinner is a phonics spinner, same thing. They have to match the first sound. This one happens to be initial sounds. Match the first sound to the picture as they spin. Not sure why that's not working. Should be spinning. Oh, what's going on? Anyway, same thing as the alphabet spinner. It should spin when they get a letter. They would have to match that and drag it to the box. This is a fun one, the slot machine CVC. So they would spin the, again, I don't know why it's not working right now. Of course it's not working. I think it's in design mode or something. It's not in design mode. Anyway, so we would spin this, should work, and then these would come up, and they have to read whatever word. So I've used that one before. Not sure what's going on right now because it's a live presentation. And then the last one I was going to show you is one that I've created for multi-syllabic instruction. So you do your introduction, you flip the pages with the arrows, and then the kids can literally drag. So does it follow the example? Yes, they drag it up. Does it not follow the example? They put it in the non-examples and so on. Kids can take turns coming to the board and dragging. Again, I've embedded some words behind the box that they would come up and decide. They'd read it. Does it follow the pattern or not? Put the ones that do not either over here or into the garbage can, whatever you want them to do. and we would just leave up the ones that do follow the closed pattern. So each kid would come up and so on and just keep dragging words out of the box until they found the ones that worked or followed the pattern. So those are some fun things to make some lessons interactive. And I can show you more about that software if you chose to use it down there.